Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, now I will teach you how to make this game object jump by pressing a certain key. But one quick little thing that I forgot in the last lesson is to change the sorting layer to player. That's a sorting layer that we already created, and that ensures that this game object will be drawn on top of everything else in our scene. We also want to add another component to it. It's located in the Physics 2D tab and it's a circle collider. We can zoom in to see how it looks like, and we can see that it's a bit bigger than our game object. So let's go ahead and scale the radius down a little bit. 0.07 seems just fine. Now we are ready to make this object jump. It's going to be a C# script, so go ahead and right click on our scripts folder and create a new C# script. We can name it player jump. Double click it to open up. Okay, so before we go into the actual jump coding, let's introduce two new variables. We want a public variable again, so that we can change it to the Unity editor. It's going to be float, and we can call it jump speed. We can assign a value right away. And I also want a private variable, but the type is going to be different. This time I want a rigid body 2D variable. Make sure you get a 2D one. And we can name it body, but this time I won't be assigning the value right away, so we can just close it up for now. However, we do want to assign a value to it in the start method. To do that, simply type the name of the variable, equals to, and now we want this variable to point at this component of this game object, so that we can manipulate it using the code. To do that, we have a pre-made command in Unity, which is called getComponent. And inside of these, we type the name of the component that we want to select. The name is rigid body 2D. After that, we want to open and close the brackets, because this is a function and it doesn't take any parameters, so that's the reason why this bracket is empty. The update method is where the code is executed every single frame. So every single frame we want to check Unity for its input. And if the input is a tap on the screen or a mouse down button, then we want the object to jump. So this is where we will be writing our code. So we want to check if input get mouse button down, and inside of the brackets we want to type in which mouse button it is. The left mouse button is indicated by a 0. So whenever Unity or the game receives some kind of input, we want to check what input that is. And if the input is the left mouse button or a tap on the screen, we want to execute this code in these brackets. So if that is true, we want to manipulate the object into jumping up. To do that, simply reference to this variable body.velocity, because we will be changing the velocity. Then type vector2. Vector2 is a representation of 2D space in this 2D game project. So it only takes two axes as parameters. We want to change the direction to vector2.up, and we want to multiply it by the jump speed. Go ahead and save this. And also don't forget to attach this player jump to the player game object. If we click play now and press on the screen, the object will jump a little bit more than in the original game. So we can simply change the jump speed here, because we made that variable a public value, so that it's easily accessible. Go ahead and change it to 5. Okay, it seems very good now. I also want to mention, if you are using this kind of assigning a component to a variable, it can only get components from the object that this script is attached to. If you wanted this script to get a component of the main camera, we would need to write it in a different way, but I'll show you that later.